Okay, so I wanted to do a quick little wrap up with Bailey. Normally, this first week video is centered around um, ways to motivate, or specifically like introducing markers and things like that. Bailey has zero interest in food, as you already know, so we've had to be a little bit more creative with how I reward and things like that. So my method with these guys is introducing a little bit sooner the concept of pressure and release. So I want him to understand, come up here, how to process pressure application. So like for me, that's going to be tension in my leash, or me using my spatial pressure, and how to remove it, how to turn it off. So negative reinforcement. When I'm asking him to do a behavior, I can apply a pressure, sit, good. And as soon as he does a behavior, I'm going to release that leash tension and say good. So for him, he's going to learn that good equals pressure is going to go away. And so I can kind of mold that into my reward marker. Obviously, that's not the most ideal way. I want to be paying him with food or toys or play or whatever, and he doesn't really care about that stuff. So all I have is release of pressure. The flip side to that, or the silver lining, if you will, is that it really helps him understand that he just has to do stuff sometimes. And what I mean by that is I want to help him cope with pressure and how to process things when he's a little bit uncomfortable. And if he just does the thing that I'm looking for, he can make any uncomfortableness go away. So it's going to help with his confidence a little bit. And it's also going to give me a little bit more of a say-so in the relationship. A lot of times when I'm dealing with a little bit more sensitive dogs, I find that because they're more sensitive, they're given a lot of passes with things. Like, oh, we can't work him through this because he's stressed out about it. And I really think that it's important to be like, I understand that you're stressed about this, but I know that you're not going to be in a bad situation, so I'm going to work you through it anyway. If we never take our dogs out of their comfort zone, then they are never going to learn how to deal with it, and that on the other side of that discomfort is not really a bad thing. So I really want him to understand how to respond to pressure, leash pressure, and my spatial pressure, and I'm going to use that to effectively communicate with him. So dogs, they don't verbally communicate, they bark and they make noises, but that's more so tied to an emotion. So especially if he's barking at guests and people walking by and things like that, that is a response of his uncertainty in the situation. So he's expressing himself. If we chime in and we start saying, Bailey, don't do that, be quiet, blah, 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 we are adding to the emotion, and we're partaking in it. We're barking too. So I want to communicate with him, especially in those situations, in a way that he understands, which is through body language and pressure. And again, I want to really help him understand what my pressure is versus what his pressure is, if that makes sense. So if he's getting worked up towards people, I really want to advocate for him. I'm going to move him away and just push him back. I don't, like, if I'm going to use words, because we talk, we're people, I want it to be really simple and straight to the point. So I'm going to say, Bailey, out. And I'm going to follow through with that, with pressure. And I'm going to say you need to leave him alone. I don't want to be like, I want to have him on a leash so I can have better control, but I don't want to leave him to his own devices where he's just kind of running up and barking. It's not aggression, it's him saying, I don't really understand, I'm nervous. He's kind of a nervous dog, which is fine. It's him proactively creating space for himself. So we're going to help him feel better about the situation by advocating for his space. People leave him alone. But at the same time, I want to say you're not allowed to go create your own space. I will create space for you. I will move you back. I got your back. I can handle this. You're not allowed to be rude and pushy towards guests and whatever else those triggers are. So I want, again, to be really clear and effective with what I'm doing so that it can be minimalistic and not add to the already stressful situation. Have him on leash. I've been using a prong collar for him. And that is really just to help with clarity with slip leads, flat collars, normal collars, harnesses. I don't know what he comes in on because he doesn't have anything on when I come in or when I pull him out. Those types of restraints, I don't know what to call them. There's something that he can really deal with a lot of pressure for a long amount of time. So it's minimal discomfort, no consequences. So a lot of times it creates a little bit more of a frustration because of the lack of consequence when utilizing that pressure source. So with the prong collar, it's a little bit more of a discomfort that he's responsive to in real time. So as soon as I apply it, he's responding to it. So I can kind of get that quicker response, and I don't have to deal with a lot of pulling and frustration and things like that. So his leash walking is amazing right now. Anytime he starts to forge ahead or get a little bit panicky, I'm applying that pressure back into my space, and then when he's back here, it goes away. Extremely crucial that we're very specific with when we apply pressure versus when we remove it for communication purposes. I want him to understand that you can't do that. I need to be right here. You can't wig out. You can't freak out. Not to be a control freak, but to help him feel more confident. This is where I need you to be. When you're here, it goes away. We're also working on a place command so that we can also use that in our communication. I know that you don't want people in your house, you don't want to be a part of what they're doing. Come over here and relax in your place and settle down. We're going to help him self-regulate his anxiety and his arousal. And we're also going to give him a rule of you can't come off here no matter what's going on around you. Impulse control. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate. He does put up a little bit of a fight because it's raised off the ground, but I want to show you how I work him through pressure. I'm not dragging, I'm not yanking and cranking, I'm just giving him a little bit of a guidance. And I kind of do like an annoying tippy tap on that leash, and as soon as he starts moving on, it goes away. He is empowered with how to remove that pressure through compliance. Bailey, come on, place. Good. Oh, the horror of having to lay on this here bed. Good boy. He already understands the concept, but if he goes to move off, I'll just say, nope, step back into his space. If I need to, I can grab the leash and put it back on. Every time he comes off of that, if he breaks behavior, essentially. That is a really, really important part to all of this, is the follow through. We have to mean it across all contexts. Everything that we ask him to do, we want to commit to it, we want to follow through. If it's something that's unrealistic, then we don't ask for it. Like if there's like a car driving towards him and he's like, I need to get out of here for my safety, I'm not going to force him into that. I'm going to call him away from that and bring him out of that situation, just to kind of as an example. Hey buddy, good boy. Look at your hair, stay back. Good boy. His release out of a behavior is okay. Behavior's done. I want him to remain in behavior until I give him that release word. Good boy. Okay, let's go. It's not a great example in this room because there's nowhere really to go, but anytime I use the command let's go. Anytime he starts to break behavior or forge in front of me, I kind of want him to level with my left leg, have the leash short and loose so that when my hand is relaxed out on my side when we're walking, there is a nice amount of slack. But if I need to communicate with him, all I have to do, because it's so short and he's so tall, I'm just giving a little bit of guidance, a little bit of pressure backing up, back into position. If he stops to sniff, nope, let's go. I'm gonna keep him back moving with me. It is important that if he's where he's supposed to be, we leave him alone so he can settle into behavior. Let's go. Come here. Good. Sit. Pressure. Sit. Nope. Good. I know you tried to trick me there. Really, really light pressure. I know it's hard to tell, especially on video, but I'm really just giving him guidance. I'm not dragging him, I'm not yanking and cranking. I don't want there to be pain. I just want it to be a little bit of a like, I felt that, what do I do with it? Enough for him to want to respond to it so that I can teach him. Good boy. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Send me an email, respond to this video. I'm happy to answer anything. Okay. Good boy.